What about in the legislature, Dan, or Patrick? So, Robin Voss, he's advocates more spending, right? And his district, that goes right through his district, the Racine.
So that's why the focus is on the Senate,
yeah.
because the Senate has been has been more reluctant to provide extra funding for roads. So the road builders and operating engineers are focusing on particular races that they hope to, and they've already been involved in one race in Oshkosh where there were 2 Republicans running, and they supported the candidate who was supportive of increasing gas tax, and he ended up winning in that race.
Yeah, and Patrick, just on this point, too, long term, if you delay the zoo, doesn't that just increase the costs on the zoo and so forth? What's the financial calculus behind this where this makes the best sense to go forward this way?
So what the governor says is we got to take care of what we got. We can't be launching all these new projects. But yes, the reality is that, eventually the zoo needs to get done. Eventually I-94 north-south needs to get done. The longer you wait to do that, the more it costs, because you have to do short-term fixes while you're waiting to do the real project, and you just have inflation, which in the construction industry is much higher than the typical inflation you have for consumer goods. So long-term, the state's in a difficult spot if it doesn't find more money, because these costs are going to continue to increase. So it's a trade-off. Do we raise revenue for roads, or do we just live with roads in worse condition? And that's what the lawmakers are battling. I would say I agree with Dan that this plan Walker's touting is not a foregone conclusion by any means. At the same time, those who want to raise money, it's very difficult to see how they can get that through. Even if they were to flip the Senate, which does not look likely in my view, they've still got the governor there, and he would presumably veto anything. So to get through a gas tax increase seems incredibly difficult in any scenario. That doesn't mean they won't find some money in some other way.
So what is the calculation? The calculation is Scott Walker rose to significance in the legislature in 1995 by opposing a 3-cent a gallon gas tax increase that Tommy Thompson proposed. He became a name at that point, and talk radio loved him, and he's not about to change his message now that he's in the governor's mansion.